Years of sacrifice, love, and sleepless nights erased in one sentence. But when I learned who made her say it, my heart shattered twice. My name is Grace. I've lived a long life filled with both love and silence, the kind of silence that follows words you wish you'd never heard. The day my daughter said, "You're dead" to me, something inside me didn't just break. It dissolved. Like sugar in hot tea, all my strength melted into that moment, leaving behind only bitterness. But maybe I should start before that day, back when love still lived in our house. Nancy was my only child. She came into this world on a stormy night, screaming louder than the thunder. And from that moment, she became my reason for everything. Her father, Peter, wasn't perfect. He worked long hours, came home tired, and often forgot birthdays. But he loved her in his own quiet way. When he passed away suddenly from a heart attack, Nancy was 16. And I remember thinking that losing him was hard, but watching her lose the light in her eyes was worse. I tried to be mother and father both. I attended her school plays, helped her apply for college, and worked double shifts at the local library just so she could have the life we once dreamed of for her. But somewhere along the way, something changed. She started spending more time with her new friends, people who seemed to live on social media more than in the real world. And then there was him, John. At first, John seemed like the kind of young man any mother would be relieved to see near her daughter. Polite, charming, ambitious. He'd call me Mrs. G and bring flowers when he visited. But there was something about the way his eyes stayed too long on Nancy, not with love, but with possession. Nancy fell in love fast, the kind of love that swallows you whole before you even know you're drowning. John slowly began to distance her from everything familiar. Family dinners became rare. Phone calls went unanswered. When I tried to talk to her, she'd say, "Mum, you don't understand. He just gets me." I'd nod and smile, even though deep down I wanted to scream. One day, John came to our house alone. He sat across from me at the kitchen table, stirring his coffee too long. He said, "Grace, you know Nancy and I are serious. You might not always agree with us, but you'll have to accept it." There was no warmth in his voice, just quiet threat. That night I prayed. Not for him to go away, but for my daughter to see clearly. But love, especially young love, can blind even the brightest hearts. Months passed, and the calls became colder. When she visited for Christmas, she sat across from me like a stranger. Every word I said seemed to offend her. Finally, I asked softly, "Nancy, are you happy?" She looked up, eyes sharp and wet. "Mum, please stop asking that. You make everything worse." And before I could speak, she stood up and walked away, leaving her half-eaten dinner behind. I didn't hear from her for almost a year after that. When she finally called, her voice was trembling. "Mum, I'm getting married." My heart lifted. "That's wonderful, honey. When's the wedding?" She hesitated. "John and I decided to keep it small, just a few people, I hope you understand." I said I did, but I didn't. How could I? I wasn't invited to my own daughter's wedding. 2 months later, she came to visit, unannounced. Her hair was shorter, her tone colder. John stood behind her, hands in his pockets, a small smirk on his lips. "Mum," she said quietly, "I think it's best if we stop seeing each other for a while." I froze. "What are you saying, Nancy? You've always tried to control me. John says you never trusted my choices. Nancy, I only ever wanted what's best for you." She shook her head. "You're toxic, Mum. You manipulate me with guilt." And then, as tears filled my eyes, she whispered the words that would echo for years. "You're dead to me." She turned and left. I stood there, surrounded by the stillness of a home that suddenly felt haunted by love, regret, and the ghost of a daughter who was still alive, but lost to me. Time moved, but I didn't. Every morning I'd wake up and hope for a message, a small "Hi, Mom," anything. But days turned to months, months to years. I filled my silence with knitting, gardening, volunteering at the library again. People would ask, "How's your daughter?" And I'd smile and say, "Oh, she's busy, doing great." It was easier than explaining the truth, that she'd erased me. I'd see glimpses of her life through social media, vacation photos, birthday parties, new cars, but never a single mention of me. Still, every birthday I'd write her a letter, letters I never sent. Each one began with the same words: "My dearest Nancy, I still love you." One rainy afternoon, 5 years after that day, there was a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, I saw a young woman, maybe 8 years old, clutching a small pink umbrella. Behind her stood a man I didn't recognize. "Are you Grace?" he asked softly. "Yes," he sighed. "I'm James. I work with Nancy." My heart skipped. "Is she okay?" He nodded slowly. "She's not well. She asked me to find you." The little girl stepped forward, eyes wide. "Grandma?" That word, I hadn't heard it before. Not from her. I fell to my knees, tears flooding my face. Her name was Lily, my granddaughter. When I visited the hospital the next day, I barely recognized Nancy. She was pale, fragile, but her eyes, they were the same ones I'd rocked to sleep years ago. She smiled weakly. "Mum." I couldn't speak. I just held her hand. After a long silence, she whispered, "I'm sorry." "Shh, don't talk." "No, Mum, I need to." John wasn't who I thought he was. He made me say those things. He told me you wanted to ruin my life. He said you hated him because he was better than Dad. She started to cry and I held her tighter. She continued, "When I tried to leave him, he told everyone I was unstable. I lost friends. I lost my job. But what broke me most was losing you." I brushed her hair gently. "Nancy, you never lost me. You couldn't if you tried." Nancy spent months recovering, not just physically, but emotionally. She moved in with me for a while. The house that once echoed with silence now filled with laughter again, and Lily's footsteps running across the wooden floors. We planted roses in the backyard together. I told her, each one represents a year we lost and how we found our way back. Sometimes she'd still cry at night. Guilt is a heavy blanket. But I reminded her that forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's freeing both hearts from the weight of yesterday. Years later, Nancy gave me back all the letters I'd written, the ones I never sent. She'd found them in my drawer one evening. She said, "Mum, you never gave up on me, did you?" I smiled. A mother's love doesn't die, even when her daughter says she's dead to her. She hugged me, crying, "Thank you for waiting." Today, I sit by the window again, with Lily playing in the garden. The roses have bloomed brighter than ever. Sometimes I still hear echoes of that sentence, "You're dead to me," but it no longer hurts the same way, because now I know, sometimes love must break to be rebuilt stronger. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a gift you give once. It's a choice you make every day, quietly, even when no one's watching. If my story ever reaches another mother waiting by her phone, wondering if she should give up, please don't. Silence doesn't always mean hate. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes confusion. But love, real love, always finds its way back, even through the longest winters. So when she finally knocks on your door, don't ask why she left. Just say, "Welcome home."